Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Junkyard Interviews.
Welcome to Junkyard Interviews, my friends. Tonight's episode of Junkyard Interviews is brought to you by Colorado-based metal band Glass Helix. Tonight in the Junkyard hot seat, the one, the only, Lo Becker, the lead singer and writer behind the Becker Band. This guy is unbelievable. Not only is he an incredible musician and an incredible human being, but he has also done something that most artists have been unable to do during the pandemic. He has increased his following, he's increased his star power, he's increased his skill set, and he's increased the quality of art he brings to you. I cannot wait to share this man's words with you as he proves that with a little bit of hillbilly twang, a dose of aloha, and a lot of swag, you can go anywhere you want to go. Ladies and gentlemen, hit that heart button and give some love to Lo Becker. Welcome back to Junkyard Interviews, everybody. As always, I am your host, Jack O'Keefe. With me again for the second time in the Junkyard, country music sensation, Lo Becker. Lo, man, it's great to see you. What's been going on since you were here last?
Oh, it's been great. Busy year with the band and stuff, kind of fell apart, but it kind of moved me into a direction of just doing what I wanted to do, which was basically get my EP out, which I ended up doing at the end of the year. So I set that goal. And then just opportunities end up coming up at the end of the year where I was able to go out to Nashville and record basically a full album, a lot cheaper, with a lot more professional musicians out there, which I was definitely grateful for. So I'm excited for that.
No, you said the band fell apart. What happened there? Take us through that.
Well, as far as like some of the finding like a lead guitarist has just been like a nightmare out here. So country it's hard to find like a good chicken picker out here. And it just,
now, is that a technical term?
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah. Cause Nashville has a bunch of like professional chicken pickers and they call them chicken pickers. So it's just, it's, you know, when you're playing those lead parts in a country song, they kind of like bring out the song with like different accents, you know what I mean? So little riffs, not overwhelming, but it really like, you know, brightens the song or brings it down, you know what I mean? Depending on where you want to go with it. But they just got a lot of great chicken pickers out in Nashville. So that's where I went to go record, you know, the album. So
ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Chicken pickers being featured on Lo's new album. That's awesome. Yeah. Now, I know you did also release your EP at the end of the year last year. So, you know, not completely fruitless time in the COVID pandemic. So talk to us about that EP.
Yeah, so I set a goal for myself. You know, when we first talked about like my transition into the whole music world, picking up a guitar, learning some songs, writing songs. I got all through that, being on stage, and then my goal was to at least do one EP, one song. I didn't know at first which one I wanted to do, but after talking to the producer in Nashville, we kind of came to the conclusion of doing Wanted Man. So we were able to get that out, and he's been pushing that all over the place. Went all the way to like Croatia and stuff, and so it's gone worldwide. You know what I mean? And then it was just one of those things that, you know, I just set forth to basically accomplish, and I was able to achieve that. So thankful for AOK Productions, Records and Productions. Yeah, they did an awesome job. So.
And is that who you stayed with to work on your upcoming album?
Correct. Yeah, those guys. If I could tell you, know, even if you're not a country singer and stuff like that, with what they do, it's just, I was blown away. You know what I mean? So. If you wanted to write a song, or if you have songs that they have that you want to do, get with them, because they are just phenomenal. Like they'll get a professional singer to sing your song, and they have professional musicians to like cut the track, and it's just I was blown away, and that's why I ended up staying with them.
Nice. Okay, so let's talk about that upcoming album as much as you want to release. So what's the title of the album?
So we were bouncing back and forth. I wanted to kind of keep it towards more what the songs were about, you know what I mean? And there's some love songs, there's some drinking songs, and there's some obviously like war songs or military songs. So came up with the whiskey, love, and war. But there's a lot of good drinking songs that when I was in the service, I kind of put out there, like I made this little toast. So there's a song called The Toast, and that was kind of geared off of that. And there's one that's called Do It Again. I had to tell my wife so many times. I'm like, this song isn't about you. It kind of is, but it's not. It's just, it goes through, like, people go through, myself, I went through a lot of relationships, goods and bads. And sometimes you ask yourself, like, would I do it again if I had the chance? So, but
Yeah. I think that's a feeling a lot of us can sympathize with.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. I think last time you were on the show, you were gearing up to do the music video for Thank 'Em. That has since, released and hit YouTube, and, it's had some really positive response. So how has that felt for you, looking back and seeing where Thank 'Em has gone and how people have responded to that video?
It's amazing. It's kind of inspired me to do more, trying to focus more so helping out veterans. With the song 22, you'll hear that song. I have some things that I'm trying to work out with merchandise and stuff that will definitely help, and then proceeds will go towards, I'm not sure which organization yet, you know what I mean? There's so many great ones out there, but it's just, finding the right like-minded people that I feel that I am going to be supportive of what their mission is and what they want to accomplish and what they're doing right now. So that's later on to come, but I'm excited about that.
So I know you're signed on to an event in July. Anything else cooking for you, leaning into the spring and summertime?
I have a few different shows already lined up. I'm still, like, I'm trying to not take anything really at this point, just because I rather have something at full capacity, you know what I mean? As opposed to just getting out there and just, that's what we did through the COVID year, basically. So there's some events that are coming up. We're opening on the 27th of this month for Bucked Off. And we actually, for my first show that I played and I performed at, I opened for them. I was the first opener. So unfortunately at that time, like, I think my lead guitarist at that time, he actually got COVID because he ended up getting sick. Then my bass player got sick, and then my drummer at the time, he ended up bailing on me. So I ended up doing that show solo by myself. And that's the time that I'd learned, and I was so grateful because, like, the drummer at the time, he told me, he's like, I don't want you playing the guitar. And I just did the opposite. So I just practiced and practiced and practiced, you know what I mean? Playing and playing and memorizing the songs and everything. And it's a good thing I did, because that show, if I hadn't done that, I would have just stood up there and just tried to do a cappella or something. It was so, but I just had the attitude that, the show must go on, and I'm not going to just bail on them last minute. And if I need to do the show by myself, I'll do a show by myself. So then that was kind of like an awakening for me too, because even the guys from the band, they were like, I could never done that. And I'd only been playing for about 4 months, the guitar and stuff. So
When I think it takes a lot of strength and a lot of pride to be able to stand up by yourself and do something like that. So, and perhaps that's part of the reason why, people are so interested in watching your career and listening to your music. But I think the other piece behind your music, and we talked about it last time you were on the show too, is how real and relatable your songs are. The other thing that's really, relatable about you is you're not, this this 21-year-old young gun out there with no responsibility slinging music. You know, you're a family man. You've got responsibilities and stuff. And I think that makes you feel so much more relatable as an artist to, you know, guys like me who are in the same boat. You know, but the question then comes up, how's your family deal with watching their husband or father or, uncle or whatever become this country rock star?
It's exciting. We were out in Utah actually, and I had my son listen to it's The Struggle, and it was kind of, my obviously kids, when they grow up with you, you listen to songs with them and they hear some of the songs that you're listening to, so they can relate in that aspect. So my son, when I put on The Struggle, I was like, what does this song sound like? And my son's nailed it. I was like, that was a proud moment. You know what I mean? And I love their encouragement, my support for my family, my wife and them. It's just been tremendous. My wife, we just had a baby, so she's like, I'm not going to be able to come to all your shows. And I'm like, well, we'll get you at least as many as we can. So, but there's a lot of support from I have some fans that are like, I'll watch the baby and your wife can go to the shows. You know what I mean? So that's definitely nice. And, it's encouraging that, when I first started this journey, like I just beat myself up so much. I was like, I don't want to do this. I hate my voice. I still struggle with that. But they're behind me 100%. So that's amazing. I couldn't be more, grateful and happy that they're such loving and help, giving people. So.
And, and you're actually opening for a metal show in July. So, take us through that moment where, you get that invite to be the opening act for a metal show and you're like, what?
Well, the thing is like, I growing up, like I love metal and stuff. And when you guys asked me to do that, I'm all about it. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people kind of take away, there's a bar down in the Springs called Legends Rock Bar. And they actually did kind of something similar where they had country and then a metal band playing the same show. And they were surprised that it was such a good turnout. And they, there was country folk that came, and then you had a bunch of like metal guys that came too. And everybody got along and everybody had a great time, and they all listened to the same music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's I think in general, music brings us together in different ways. We can relate in different ways, and we can connect in different ways. And, for the cause and everything else, I'm more than happy.
So, before we finish up, I'm just curious, what would you say is the biggest thing you've learned in the last year that helps you be a better musician or a better performer?
I would say just keep your focus on what you want, and don't go bigger than what you can handle. So with that, basically, there's certain goals and certain things that I wanted to do that I set myself up for to hit those milestones. And I still have, the whole vision of getting on Red Rocks. I'd love to play out there, you know what I mean? And huge amphitheaters and play in front of thousands of people, you know what I mean? But if you just keep it down to what you can do, where you're at with the situation, then, it'll keep you not discouraged, and you'll just keep moving forward as opposed to just being stagnant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very well said. Well, as always, Lo, we want to make sure we give you a chance to shout out to anyone or any organizations that you would like to give some credit to before we end the interview.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to give a shout out to AOK Productions and Records, Sunshine Studios for having us at the event. Obviously, Jack's Junkyard. I appreciate you guys. I love what you guys are doing, and I'm all about it. Kilted OG and friends, love you guys. And I promise I will. I really need to start. I got to start doing the push-ups. Like, oh yeah, I will just find excuses of like, oh, I didn't get to it this time, but I will definitely. We need to start doing them.
Yeah. You know what my excuse is? I'm fat.
Well, we
All
just
right.
we got to fix that. We got to fix that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, Lo, I really appreciate being on the show again for season 2. Really excited to see what comes next out of the Lo Becker Band, and looking forward to Metal for Life with our leadoff act, Lo Becker. We'll see you later, sir.
Can we stop with the tank for Trevor nonsense? Let's just stop. Stefan Diggs is not going to be traded.
Holy potato.
There's 400 guys that are flipping burgers right now, doing DoorDash, walking people's dogs that will literally play for the cleats that they get.
Let Dalvin cook.
I will personally go to the Target Center, to the front office of the Timberwolves, and burn that place to the ground.
I thought this was Minnesota, not call her daddy. For you, man. Fantastic. That's all.
Thanks for the page views, Terry.
We appreciate it.
Minnesota Sports Live. Get in the zone.